Once upon a time, there were 3 little wolves that lived with their mother. One day, she called them around her and said,
"My children, it is time for you to go out into the world. Go and make a home for yourselves, but beware the big bad pig."
"Don't worry, Mother. We will watch out for him." And they set off. I know what you're probably thinking. Pigs, wolves, I know this story. But you're wrong. If you're thinking houses of straw are great gusts of breath, you're sorrowfully mistaken. Watch as these 3 little wolves use some unconventional methods to outwit the big bad pig in The 3 Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig by Eugene Trivizas and Helen Oxenbury. Soon they met a kangaroo pushing a wheelbarrow full of bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" "Certainly." And she gave them lots of red and yellow bricks. And so the wolves built themselves a house of bricks. But the next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house that the little wolves had built. When they saw him, they ran inside and locked the door.
"Little wolves, let me come in."
"No, no, no. By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in."
"Then I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house down."
So he huffed and he puffed. And he puffed and he huffed. But the house did not fall down. But the pig was not called big and bad for nothing, for he went and he fetched his sledgehammer, and he smashed the house down. The little wolves just managed to escape as the house fell, but they were very frightened indeed. "We'll have to build a stronger house." Just then, they saw a beaver mixing cement. "Please, will you give us some of your cement?" "Certainly." And he gave them lots of messy, slurry cement. And so the wolves built themselves a house of cement. But the next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house that the little wolves had built. When they saw him, they ran inside and locked the door.
"Little frightened wolves, let me come in."
"No, no, no. By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in."
"Then I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house down."
So he huffed and he puffed. And he puffed and he huffed. But the house did not fall down. But the pig was not called big and bad for nothing, for he went and he fetched his pneumatic drill,
And he smashed the house down.
The little wolves just managed to escape as the house fell, but their chinny chin chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. "We'll have to build a stronger house." Just then, they saw a truck coming along, carrying barbed wire, iron bars, armor plating, and heavy metal padlocks. "Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, iron bars, armor plating, and heavy metal padlocks?" they said to the rhinoceros who was driving the truck. "Sure." And he gave them lots of barbed wire, iron bars, armor plating, and heavy metal padlocks. And so the wolves built themselves a very strong house. It was the strongest, securest house anyone had ever seen. But the next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house that the little wolves had built. When they saw him, they ran inside, bolted the door, and locked all 37 padlocks.
Little frightened wolves with their trembling chins, let me come in.
"No, no, no. By the hair on our chinny chin chins,
We will not let you in.
Then I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house down!
So he huffed and he puffed. And he puffed and he huffed. But the house did not fall down. But the pig was not called big and bad for nothing, for he went and he fetched his dynamite, lit the fuse, boom, and he blew the house up. The little wolves just managed to escape as the house exploded, but their little tails were scorched. There must be something wrong with our building materials. Just then, they saw a flamingo pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. Please, will you give us some of your flowers? With pleasure! And he gave them lots of flowers. And so the wolves built themselves a house of flowers. It was a rather fragile house that swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. But the next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house that the little wolves had built. When they saw him, they ran inside and locked the door.
Little frightened wolves with their trembling chins and their scorched tails, let me come in.
No, no, no. By the hair on our chinny chins, we will not let you in.
Then I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house down!
But as he took a deep breath, ready to huff and puff, he smelled the soft scent of the flowers. And it was very beautiful. It was so beautiful, in fact, he took another deep breath. And another, and another, until he stopped huffing and puffing and he began to sniff. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quite filled with the fragrant scent. His heart grew tender, and the pig realized just how horrible he had been. And at that moment, he decided to become a big, good pig. And he began to sing and dance. Tiptoe by the window. At first, the wolves were worried. They thought it might be a trick. When they realized the pig had truly changed, they came running outside to greet him. They played games together, and when they were all tired, they invited him inside for tea and strawberries. They offered for the pig to stay as long as he wished, and the pig accepted, and they lived happily ever after. The end.